Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything entrepreneurship, building and growing a brand. So if that sounds interesting to you, feel free to subscribe down below. Today we're talking about brand voice, brand tone. What is the difference? When do you use it? How do you create one? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So let's dive in. Finding your brand voice is an intricate part of actually making your brand identity. So if you're still doing that and you need some guidance on that, I have a podcast episode about that. I will link it in the description box down below. But it's something that is often looked over. A lot of beginning entrepreneurs don't really think about their brand voice and their brand tone. And it's still something very important because building and having a strong brand voice and brand tone is going to help you having or keeping that consistency in your whole brand identity. So for those of you that know me, that have watched my videos, you guys know that I am a big supporter of having your brand stand out, because there are a lot of people that are probably doing the same thing as you. They are selling something similar or they are offering a similar service. So if you want people to come to you, to buy from you, to use your service, you need to make sure that your brand stands out. That is why brand voice, brand tone, everything that has to do with your brand identity is very important. So you guys can expect to have some other videos about that, because that is mainly where I really want to focus on, because that is going to help you grow your business, having that brand around it. Now, your brand voice and your brand tone are not the same thing. Sometimes, a lot of times, people talk about them like they are the same thing. They're not. Even people talk about your brand's tone of voice, which is your brand tone. It's not the same thing. So I'm hopefully going to be able to clarify this in this video, and we're going to start with your brand voice. Your brand voice is a unique way to communicate to your audience. Kind of like everybody else has their own unique voice, like the way that I'm talking right now. Your voice doesn't, or probably doesn't, sound like mine. So the next time that you'll hear my voice, if you've watched a lot of my videos or if you know me in real life, you'll probably know that it's me and not someone else. So in that same manner, a brand voice is also something unique. It's the way you communicate to your customers. And it must be a reflection of your brand identity, which also means that it needs to stay consistent. It is probably the same in all of your communications. Your brand voice stays the same. So it's basically your brand personality infused with the way you're communicating. That is basically your brand voice. And the typical way that people use to actually identify their brand voice or to characterize their brand voice is by comparing what their brand voice is to what their brand voice is certainly not. So for instance, you could say the following about your brand voice. You could say that it's confident but not arrogant. You could say that it's fun but not cheesy, or you could say that it is expert but not bossy. So these are ways that you can actually describe and characterize your brand voice, and that is going to help you to consistently use the same voice throughout the communications that you'll do. Now, for your brand's tone, it's a whole different, it's a little bit different, because as I said, everybody has a voice. I have a voice. You don't always use the same tone when you're talking. Right now I'm talking to you guys on a certain tone, but if my mom is angry at me and she calls me, she's all angry, I'm not going to talk to her in the same tone that I'm talking to you guys right now. Or if I learn that someone is sick, when I call them to, talk a little bit with them, I'm not going to use the same tone as if, I would call someone to announce great news. So your tone is not always the same. It depends on the situation. And it is actually your emotional side, or the emotional side of the whole situation, infused in your communication. So basically that's the difference between your brand voice and your brand tone. So while your brand voice stays consistent, your brand tone can vary depending on who you're talking to, depending on what you're communicating, depending on even the media that you're using to communicate. Now, why is a strong brand voice, including the brand tone, important? Having a strong brand voice is going to help you to develop things like brand awareness and brand recognition, especially in the long run. And in the short run, having a strong brand voice is going to help you with mainly with two things I want to say. One, it's going to help you to build that trust with your customers or your clients, because every time that you're communicating with them, you're going to show your values, because as I said, your brand voice has to be in line with your brand identity. So every time that you're going to communicate with your customers, I wanted to say, with your clients or with your customers, you're going to show them your values, and this will attract like-minded customers, and then you'll be able to build that real trust relationship with them. It will also help you to build a real connection with your customers, because since your tone is also going to imply something emotional, people are going to emotionally connect to your brand way easier if you have a strong brand voice and use right tone. Your brand voice can be used through any form of communication. It can be used through mail, podcast, over the phone, social media. Basically, every time that you communicate with one of your clients, one of your customers, you have to let that brand voice shine through. Now, how do you go about actually creating your brand voice? It's actually very simple. It's not that difficult at all. And I'm quickly going to break that down for you in this video so that you have like a guideline on how to do that. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is to go back and take a look at your mission and your purpose and your values, because as I said, you really want to reflect your brand identity. So you need to make sure that your brand voice is based on those values and that mission that you made up in the very beginning. The second thing is to actually research your audience. I think I've said it over and over again. You really need to know your target audience. Who is your ideal audience? Get to know them. Go personal, go deep. Like, who are they? What do they do? And what kind of media are they consuming? How can you get to them? And what media do they like? So you really need to think through and make sure that you know your target audience, because those are the ones that are going to listen to your brand voice, and they need to find your brand voice like appealing to the ears. So they need to want to listen to you, and in order for you to get someone to listen to you, you need to know what that person likes so that you can actually bring them what they like. So the next thing that you should do is to actually make a brand voice chart, which is basically just having all of the correct characteristics that you like or that you want to incorporate in your brand's voice listed out, and then having 2 rows of do's and don'ts. I will try to have like a picture if I can. And then for every do's, you are going to put into that chart what you do want to do for that characteristic and what you don't want to do with that characteristic. This way you'll kind of have like a reference tool to make sure that you always stay consistent with your brand voice. I will put a link down below with some examples of these charts so that you can go and check that out, just so that you can really implement this, because this is going to be a big part of your brand voice and consistently conveying that throughout your communications to your customers. So the next thing would be to actually create some documented guidelines, because you're not the only one that is going to communicate with your customers or clients. You probably have someone working for you or with you on your team, and you want everybody to communicate in the same way, so that you guys can have, convey the same brand voice. So to do that, make sure that you write down your guidelines that you've found through your brand voice chart, and make usage of it every time that you and your team are trying to communicate to your customers. You guys, trust me, it will help you. It will help you stay consistent with that brand voice, and it will also help you to maintain your standards. All right, you guys, so let's finish this off with a couple of examples. Hopefully this will help you guys understand the matter a little bit better. So let's start with Dove. I think that everybody knows the company Dove. They sell beauty products and they also sell self-care products, and they want to raise awareness about body positivity, especially for women. So they have an uplifting and a rewarding kind of brand voice. I think that everybody that knows Dove kind of knows what their brand voice sounds like, and it is a good example of being consistent with your brand voice and really making sure that in every way that you communicate, that brand voice really shines through. All right, so the next example that I want to give is Coca Cola. I think everybody knows Coca Cola. Their brand voice is happy, kind, and uplifting in every message that they send out. They're really trying to convey that happy spirit, that happy life, and they really want everybody to be happy at all times. So Coca Cola also has their distinct brand voice that is very recognizable. Disney also is a brand that has a very good brand voice. Their voice is actually always telling you to dream, to make your dreams happen, and they like the whole dreamy vibe, and they really make sure that this is always communicated, even in their design and even in their physical structures. When you go to the parks and everything, dreams, dreaming big, all of that is really always communicated through their brand voice. So these are a couple of examples. I hope that this made like the matter a little bit easier for you guys, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys know the importance of your brand voice and also your brand tone. Make sure that you put some time into this and figure out what the voice is, or what your voice is going to look like for your brand, in order for you to solidify your brand identity and to actually stand out in the crowd. That is the whole purpose of all of this, standing out in the crowd, especially if you're doing something that is really competitive. You want to do something that is different. You want to bring something not necessarily new, but something that is different and that will attract new customers, keep the old customers happy. So yeah, you guys, I hope you liked this video. I hope you found it helpful. If that was the case, feel free to subscribe down below. I put out videos every week that talk about everything entrepreneurship. So yeah, if you like my content, give me a thumbs up, and then I'll talk to you in my next one.